remember, because this is Cardinal Film Fights, where you can just as easily be knocked down that totem pole, TMS. I'm Justin Branson. I'll be your host, judge, and moderator, and these are going to be your fighters. I'll allow them, because this is my show, to introduce themselves, going this way, name, major, and we can throw favorite breakfast cereal out there.
Okay. I'm Haley Parnell. I'm a TCOM major and a film and screenwriting minor, and my favorite breakfast cereal is Apple Jacks, although it's very controversial.
Hello, I'm Kyle Israel. I'm a TCOM major with a minor in theater, and my favorite breakfast cereal is that Special K cereal with the little chocolate rectangles.
Hello, my name's Trevor Michael Sheffield. I was told that if I came on this program that they would give me my son back. Jimmy, if you're out there, it's me, Daddy. I'm coming for you. Also, I'm a telecommunications major and a theater minor, and my favorite breakfast cereal is Count Chocula, because it's the only cereal you can eat while being very horrified of it at the same time.
I like Frosted Flakes, but that doesn't matter because I'm just the host. The question that we're working with today here, folks, who is the worst Disney princess? Now, I'll let you duke it out in the normal fashion, 1-minute introductions, 5 minutes of whatever you guys decide to do. You don't really have to fight, but I'd prefer it. And 30 seconds of conclusion time. Maybe you can convince me otherwise. So, let's get...
Ding.
So let's get 1 minute on the clock, please and thank you. And we can start here and work our way over.
Okay. Now, with Disney princesses, you commonly come across the stereotype of they have no motivation, they have no action in their own stories, that they're just standing around for a big, strong man, for somebody to come to save them. Well, in the case of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, we all remember The Little Mermaid, I'd assume, she has choice. She's the princess, daughter of Triton, king of the sea, and she has the ability to do as she wishes, albeit whilst under her father's reign, and willingly throws away nearly the fate of her entire kingdom in favor of some jackhat on a boat who can play the Pokemon theme on his flute real good. She barely knows the man. She makes a deal with a skeevy sea witch who, it's another one of those Disney movies where, ugly is evil, obviously. And my main argument here is that she has choice, she has action, yet she throws away her tail in exchange for some tail.
Was that rehearsed? Okay.
I'll let you decide that.
Moving along.
All right. When you have an institution that's been around as long as the Disney princesses, you're going to have some problems with the first iteration. You'll look at it and go, my God, I'm glad we've moved past that. Snow White is that iteration. She represents everything that every Disney princess has had to overcome since her. She is readily overshadowed by the movie she's in's villain. She is dependent on male characters, in this case of Snow White, every single other male character, and she gets exactly what she wants with no real character development and no personal sacrifices.
So, Aurora, who you may not recognize her by that name because she is Sleeping Beauty, which is basically the only trait she has because she sleeps and she's seen as beautiful. She's definitely the least interesting of all of the Disney princesses, which makes her movie just as interesting. It's not memorable if it weren't for all of the other characters, so she really doesn't even need to be there. And she has her value defined by everyone else around her, the fairies who raised her, the witch who cursed her, and the prince who saved her. So she's treated more like a supportive role in her own film. And just to make that even more out there, she only has 18 minutes of screen time and only 18 lines in the whole entire movie.
Strong starts from all. Now, we're going to get into the whole fighting thing, so I'm just going to sit back and let this happen.
All right. Would anybody like to go first?
Go ahead.
All right, well, in the case of Aurora, I do agree that she is very limited in her role in her own film. However, if we're speaking strictly from the method of her acting of her own accord, it's like obviously you have the whole deal of Maleficent's sleeping curse, and it's like there's not a lot you can do to get around a curse. And with Sleeping Beauty, Yes, I do wholly agree that she is a product of her time and the age of which she was made on. But by that same token, in comparison to Ariel, both of your characters are far more productive in society. Because Ariel, she spends most of the movie just kind of having teenage angst. And now don't get me wrong, teenage angst is always fun every once in a while, but that's all she does. She just lusts after a guy the whole movie and then comes out of it, yeah, she's got legs, but it's like she doesn't really change. She doesn't really grow. And don't even get me started on what happens in Little Mermaid 2. Because it's like, once Ursula's crazy sister comes into play, oh yeah, that's right, she has a crazy sister. She's thin this time. She has a daughter. Ursula's crazy sister is going after the daughter. Her choice, don't tell her daughter about the sea, don't tell her about anything, and just build a giant wall. I'm not saying it's a very smart plan, but I'm just saying that compared to almost every other princess in play here, she has power, she has agency, but she instead throws it all away for her own selfish desires. In a way, she kind of reminds me of Merida from Brave, if I remember properly. However, with Brave, at least Merida had to change. She had to grow in some fashion. With Ariel, she's got legs now.
Can we refrain from slapping tables for the audio people?
I'm sorry, I had to accentuate my point. Audio people, I humbly apologize. Namaste.
Well, I hate to get trivial, but at least Ariel has some catchy musical numbers. Snow White just mostly goes around saying, oh my, oh me, and makes this facial expression and attempts to still be taken seriously as a protagonist.
But it's like not even in the case of musical numbers, it's like for most of the movie, she doesn't even talk. It's like she has the one big song, Part of Your World, and it's like there's like 3 songs that most people remember from that movie. Part of Your World, Under the Sea, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Only one of those songs goes to Ariel, and the rest go to Ursula and Sebastian. Like I said, she's silent for most of the movie, with the exception of when Ursula takes her voice and becomes Vanessa.
You want to talk about a princess not talking?
But like I said,
That's
the
this
curse.
one.
It's the curse. At least Aurora, it's like she does
Okay,
have a song, and
but-
yes, she does have a very limited role, but it's like within the greater context of the story. And I'm not saying it's a good thing in this case. We're debating which one is the worst. But it's like Aurora has no agency, and I do realize that. But the biggest problem here is that Ariel does, but she spends it like she's one of those characters, thereby making her, it's like, with certain movies that come out nowadays, there's this idea of fake wokeness of a sort, where it's like, oh, we do these casting choices so that we can appear progressive, but in actuality, we're just propagating the same bored and tired stereotypes that we get on a regular basis. And with your 2 characters, yes, they are undoubtedly methods of that kind of stereotype, the stereotypical Disney princess. They literally made a list in Wreck-It Ralph 2. But with Ariel, she presents herself as a more progressive Disney princess, yet ultimately falls to the trappings that befall her predecessors.
I think something else you have to consider is the popularity of the Disney princesses, because
Yes.
while you believe Ariel is the worst Disney princess, a lot of people don't agree with you. And a lot of people know Ariel. Most people have to be reminded Snow White exists.
But this isn't a matter of popularity. This is a matter of the characters being the worst in their own respective
Popularity
films.
factors into
Obviously,
it.
popularity does factor, but within the greater scheme of things, it's like I'm more so judging this from the sake of the fact that the character within their own film, as a princess, as a character, as a figure, as someone that we should look up to, she has these capabilities and yet squanders it away.
At this point in time, I just would like to say I don't think that Aurora should even be considered a princess because she's not there to do anything.
So you've just evaluated, kind of undone your own argument.
No, I'm saying that
She's
she
so
is
bad,
considered a
yeah.
princess. She's so bad, she really doesn't deserve to be considered a princess.
It's like,
That's my opinion. That's not a fact, I'm sorry.
but by that same token, it's her being a princess
Well,
that causes the plot at all to happen. It's like with Ariel, she could not be a princess and still have parts of this plot happens. I apologize for sounding incoherent there.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that Ariel has this talent. She has this, I'm sorry if I'm going to paraphrase Spider-Man in this case. She has this spark, but fails to utilize it to its true potential.
And that's time. That's what the bell means, people at home. That's what the bell means. So now we're going to move into conclusions, obviously. And just please conclude this. No. You, please.
Okay. So I think that Aurora is the worst Disney princess. I wasn't really going off of based based on what Trevor was saying about if she could stop whatever she was doing, because I was kind of focused more on the way she was written and the way that she was introduced to the audience, which I don't really understand why the choice was made for her to be such a boring character that is barely on screen if she's supposed to be this Disney princess that everyone's supposed to look up to.
Snow White and Aurora are very similar, but I like to use this food metaphor to compare them. Aurora is like white bread. If you're eating a sandwich, it's not for the white bread. It's for everything else that's involved. Snow White, on the other hand, is kale. Her very existence is annoying. She was unduly popular for way too long and should probably be left in the past.
You really went for that one.
May I?
If you must.
Let me put it this way. If Aurora is white bread and Snow White is kale, then Ariel is a chocolate wonder ball. It's this little chocolatey thing that has a candy on the inside. It looks great. It tastes great. You think to yourself, wow, this is great. But the more you think about it, the less good it is for you. To sum up my efforts bluntly, it ain't better. Down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
I actually like chocolate wonder balls.
Well,
Sound delicious.
can we get some facts checked? Or is there,
Our chocolate Wonder
is
Ball's
there,
delicious.
Our chocolate Wonder Ball is delicious, Vaughn. Please tell me.
The consensus is yes.
The consensus is yes.
The consensus
they
is
good for
yes.
you?
That seems to be a recurring theme.
The math is commencing, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to carry the one. Always forget that.
Boy, these things get stuck to you.
So is Elsa?
In-
Oh,
The third place, we have Trevor Michael Sheffield. You see,
okay.
talking a lot doesn't mean you're saying anything. And I think that was represented well in the last 15 minutes of my life. I could think of no other way to explain what just happened at this table other than that.
I offered them to start to speak.
So,
They told me to go away with it. So I
That was
went
our
away
plan.
all around. He went away with it. He sure did. He went away from the point. So, in second place, we have Senor Kyle. You see, I really was into the point of she is everything that is wrong with a Disney princess, but like you even said, popularity factors in, and when there's like such a recognizable name as Snow White versus Aurora, which people often forget is even a Disney princess, it's hard to compete with that. So, well fought. I respect you as a person, as a human being, as a spiritual entity, but second place. Haley's on a hot streak tonight. I don't know what's gotten into her. I've never heard her speak until this moment. Well, extremely one-sided, boring, forgettable. Maybe she shouldn't even be a princess, but really, 18 lines in your own movie? Come on, Aurora. You can do better. You can do better, sweetie. So, that's going to be all for Cardinal Film Fights right here. If you liked it, you can like it. If you disliked it, you can dislike it. Leave us a comment saying who you think should have won or what you think we should debate next, because these ideas don't grow on trees. They grow in our heads. I hope you had a good time, and I certainly did not. No, I did. I enjoy this thing that we do here. And if you want to enjoy it along with us, you can follow us on our social medias at Card Film Fights. Hope to see you there. Good night and good luck.
So when am I getting my son back? You told me if I won the fight, I would get my son.